Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're looking at the world of retail,
Okay.
specifically here in the DFW area,
Yeah, DFW.
and really some fascinating trends that are reshaping not only how we shop, but
Yeah.
how these retail spaces are designed and even function.
Absolutely. It's not just about what's on the shelves anymore.
No, not at all.
Right.
And our main source for this deep dive is an article from EBG Commercial Management.
Okay.
Now, these guys really know the DFW commercial property market.
Yeah, they do.
So their insights give us a peek behind the curtain
Mm-hmm.
at what property managers are dealing with.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. These trends impact all of us,
Oh, for sure.
even if we don't own, a shopping mall.
Precisely. These trends reflect how we as consumers are changing how we interact with brands and what we expect from the shopping experience these days.
Yeah, so let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
The first trend EBG highlights is this shift toward experiential retail.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Well, think back to what shopping used to be like. You'd go to a store, you browse for a specific item, buy it, and leave.
Right, just very transactional.
Exactly. Experiential retail is about making shopping an event and experience you want to savor.
Okay.
Imagine taking a cooking class at a kitchen store instead of just buying a pan.
Interesting. So you're saying it's more than just going in and buying something.
Yeah, more interactive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But why are we seeing this shift? Is it just a fad, or is there something deeper going on?
I think it reflects a larger cultural trend where people are placing more value on experiences than on material possessions. Think about it, you're more likely to remember and cherish that cooking class than a new spatula.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who really talks about their spatula?
Right, and social media plays a role too. We're constantly bombarded with images of people having amazing experiences,
Right.
and it makes us want to seek out similar experiences ourselves.
That's so true. And the EBG article even mentions that property managers are changing the types of businesses they lease space to in order to create these experiences.
Exactly. It's not just about having a random collection of stores anymore. It's about creating a curated mix of tenants that complement each other and offer a variety of experiences.
So it's all very intentional now.
Yeah, much more so. You might have a coffee shop next to a bookstore, a yoga studio near a clothing boutique. It's about creating a destination, a place where people want to spend time and connect with others.
It sounds like shopping centers are becoming more like community hubs, almost like little villages within the city.
That's a great way to put it. And this leads perfectly into the next major trend that EBG highlights the rise of e-commerce and omnichannel retail.
Online shopping has obviously exploded in recent years, but what exactly does omnichannel mean?
Omnichannel is about creating a seamless shopping experience across all channels online, in-store, mobile, social media.
Okay, so it's everything.
It's connecting them all. You might browse for a product online, order it, and then pick it up in store a few hours later. Or you might see an item on social media, scan it with your phone, and purchase it right then and there.
Wow, it sounds like a lot for retailers to juggle. Does this mean the traditional mall is doomed? I mean, why even bother going to a physical store if you can buy anything online?
That's the big question facing the retail industry. The mall isn't doomed, but it does need to adapt.
Okay.
Malls can thrive by offering unique experiences you simply can't get online, whether it's a high-end spa, a personalized styling service, or a fun event that brings the community together.
Okay, so malls are going to have to figure out how
Right.
to stand out.
Exactly. And malls are in a unique position to serve as convenient hubs for online order pickups and returns. They can become local distribution centers, making it even easier for people to get the products they want when they want them. But there are some interesting logistical challenges to address, as the EBG article points out.
Yeah, the article really emphasized how these trends are forcing property managers to think differently about how they design and utilize space.
Absolutely. A shopping center designed primarily for foot traffic is going to function differently than one that needs to accommodate delivery trucks, curbside pickup, and potentially even drone deliveries in the future.
That's wild. I mean, drone deliveries to the mall, that's pretty crazy. But what about the buildings themselves? The article also mentions something about sustainable retail,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like shoppers are increasingly interested in this.
It's no longer just a niche concern. People are more aware of the environmental impact of their choices, and they want to support businesses that are doing their part to operate sustainably. EBG mentions that property managers are responding to this demand in several ways.
Okay, so how are they doing that? What are
Wow.
they doing?
The article talked about things like using sustainable materials, incorporating energy-efficient technologies, and even pursuing LEED certification.
Okay, LEED certification. What is LEED?
A LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's a globally recognized green building rating system. Think of it like a seal of approval for buildings that meet high standards for energy efficiency, water conservation, and indoor environmental quality.
So a LEED certified building tells you that the owners are serious about sustainability.
Exactly.
Okay, but how does that actually impact me as a shopper?
For one thing, a LEED certified building is likely to have a more comfortable indoor environment, better air quality, natural light, and a more pleasant temperature. It can also affect the types of businesses that choose to lease space there.
Oh, interesting.
Companies with strong sustainability values are more likely to be drawn to a LEED certified building, so you might find a wider selection of eco-conscious brands and products available.
So they're kind of self-selecting in a way.
In a way.
Yeah, interesting. It sounds like sustainability is becoming a factor in everything from the products we buy to the buildings we shop in.
Yeah.
It's not just a trend, it's a shift in mindset.
I completely agree. And it makes you wonder what other factors are shaping how we shop and what we expect from retailers these days.
That's a great question. And it leads perfectly into the next trend. EBG highlights the rise of data-driven decision-making in the retail world.
It's everywhere.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so data-driven decision-making, this is where things get really interesting.
This is where the magic happens.
Right. We live in a data-driven world, and retail is no exception. But it's not just about collecting data, it's about using that data to make smarter decisions and create better experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay, can you give me an example? What kind of data are we talking about and how is it being used?
Well, imagine a store that tracks foot traffic patterns using sensors. They can see which displays are attracting the most attention, which aisles are getting congested, and even how long people are spending in certain areas of the store.
That sounds a little creepy, if I'm being honest.
Just a little bit.
Is Big Brother watching me while I shop?
It can feel a bit intrusive, but the data is often anonymized and aggregated, so it's not about tracking individuals. The goal is to understand overall shopping behaviors and use those insights to make improvements.
Okay.
For example, the store could adjust the layout to improve flow, highlight popular products, or even personalize the shopping experience based on the data they collect.
So the data can be used to make my shopping experience more efficient and enjoyable.
That's the idea. And the EBG article points out that property managers are also using data to make more informed decisions. They can analyze sales data, demographics, and even social media trends to identify high-performing tenants, optimize space utilization, and attract the right mix of businesses to their properties.
It's like they're using data to create a more successful ecosystem.
Exactly.
For both retailers and shoppers.
Exactly. And speaking of ecosystems, the next trend EBG discusses is the evolution of retail formats. We're seeing a move away from the traditional big box stores and shopping malls and a rise in new and innovative concepts. We've already touched on experiential retail, but there are other interesting developments happening as well.
The article mentioned things like pop-up shops, shared spaces, and mixed-use developments. Can you break those down for me?
Of course, pop-up shops are temporary retail spaces that pop up in unexpected locations, creating a sense of novelty and exclusivity.
So it's kind of like that fear of missing out.
Exactly. They're a great way for brands to test new markets, create buzz, and connect with customers in a more intimate setting. Shared spaces involve multiple brands or businesses sharing a single retail space. Think of a bookstore that also has a coffee shop inside, or a clothing boutique that shares space with a local artist's gallery.
So it's like a mini mall, but with a more curated and collaborative feel.
Precisely. And finally, mixed-use developments are transforming urban landscapes by combining residential, commercial, and recreational spaces into a single complex. Imagine living in an apartment building that also has shops, restaurants, a gym, and even a co-working space right downstairs.
That's like a whole little...
It's a little self-contained community.
Yeah, it sounds like a very convenient and community-oriented way to live. But why are we seeing these new formats emerge? Is it just a matter of trying something different, or are there deeper forces at play?
I think it reflects a number of factors. For one thing, urban lifestyles are changing. People are living in smaller spaces, working remotely, and seeking out experiences that are closer to home. These new retail formats cater to that desire for convenience and community.
I can see that.
They also offer retailers more flexibility and lower overhead costs, which is important in today's competitive market.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating to see how retail is adapting to these changing needs and lifestyles. But we can't talk about retail without addressing the elephant in the room, technology.
It's inescapable.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Technology is revolutionizing the retail experience from top to bottom. And it's only going to become more pervasive in the years to come.
For sure.
The EBG article touched on several tech-driven trends, including advanced POS systems, augmented reality shopping experiences, and the need for robust tech infrastructure.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there.
Can you explain what those are and how they're changing the game for both retailers and shoppers?
Let's start with POS systems.
Yeah.
POS stands for point of sale, which is essentially the checkout process.
Mm.
But modern POS systems are far more than just cash registers. They're sophisticated software platforms that can track inventory, analyze sales data in real time, manage loyalty programs, and even personalize promotions based on your purchase history.
So they do a lot.
They do a lot more than just ring up your purchases.
Wow, that sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It seems like these POS systems are doing a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
They are. And that frees up retailers to focus on providing better customer service and creating more engaging shopping experiences. And for shoppers, it can mean faster checkout times, personalized recommendations, and more targeted discounts.
Okay, so that sounds good for everyone.
Absolutely.
Speaking of personalized experiences,
Yeah.
the article also mentioned something called augmented reality shopping. Is that like those filters you see on social media?
Kind of, but on a whole other level. Imagine being able to try on clothes virtually without ever stepping into a fitting room,
Oh, wow.
or visualizing how a new piece of furniture would look in your living room before you buy it.
Okay.
That's the power of augmented reality in retail.
So you don't even have to leave your house.
It's about enhancing the physical shopping experience with digital tools and creating a more immersive and interactive environment.
Okay, I could see that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the lines between online and offline shopping are blurring even further.
Exactly. And it's creating some truly exciting possibilities. But with all this advanced technology comes the need for robust infrastructure to support it. Retailers need to invest in high-speed, internet-secure data storage and reliable mobile networks to ensure a seamless and secure shopping experience.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to be frustrating if you're trying to use...
Not a lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like technology is both a driver of innovation and a challenge for retailers to manage. It's a lot to keep up with.
It certainly is. But one thing is clear, technology is transforming the retail landscape in profound ways, and it's only going to become more important in the years to come.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where things go from here.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our exploration of retail trends and delve even deeper into the impact of technology on the shopping experience. Stay tuned. And we're back digging deeper into these retail trends.
Yeah, a lot to cover.
We were just talking about technology's impact on shopping, and I think there's more to unpack there.
Definitely. Before the break, you mentioned advanced POS systems and how much they do behind the scenes, but I'm curious, how does that translate to a better experience for the shopper?
Yeah, I mean, I know faster checkouts are always nice,
Right.
but what else?
Well, imagine you walk into your favorite store, and as you browse, you receive personalized recommendations on your phone
Okay.
based on your past purchases and items you've favorited online. The POS system can connect those dots and even alert you to a sale on something you've been eyeing.
So it's taking all that online data.
Yeah, connecting it to your in-store experience.
That's pretty cool. It's like having a personal shopper in my pocket.
Precisely. And it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
These systems can also help manage loyalty programs more effectively. Instead of fumbling for a physical card, your purchase history and rewards points are all tied to your account, accessible with a simple tap or scan.
That makes sense.
It streamlines everything.
So it's about making the shopping experience more seamless and personalized.
Exactly. And for retailers, these systems offer a wealth of data that can help them optimize inventory, personalize marketing, and even predict future trends.
Okay, so, I think we touched on augmented reality shopping a bit earlier.
Yeah, very futuristic stuff.
Does sound futuristic. Can you give me a real-world example of how that's being used in retail today?
Absolutely. Imagine you're shopping for furniture online.
Go.
You see a sofa you like, but you're not sure how it would look in your living room. With augmented reality, you can use your phone's camera to place a virtual version of the sofa in your actual living room.
Oh, wow.
You can see how it fits, try different colors and fabrics, and even get a sense of scale.
Okay, so you could, move it around.
Yeah, see it from different angles.
That's wild. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It takes all the guesswork out of online shopping. I've actually seen virtual makeup try-on apps, which seem to use a similar technology.
Exactly. And the beauty of augmented reality is that it can be applied to so many different products and industries, from trying on clothes and accessories to testing out paint colors and even visualizing kitchen renovations. AR is changing how we shop and experience products.
So it seems like the line between the physical and digital world is getting blurrier all the time, and it's making the shopping experience more interactive and engaging.
Absolutely. And this seamless integration is what omnichannel retail is all about. But as the EBG article pointed out, all this technology relies on a robust and reliable infrastructure.
Right. I remember them stressing the need for things like high-speed internet and secure data storage. Can you explain why those are so important in the context of retail?
Think about it this way. If you're trying to use an AR app in a store with spotty internet, the experience is going to be frustrating and clunky. High-speed internet ensures smooth, responsive interactions with these digital tools.
Right. It just has to work.
Yeah, and quickly.
And secure data storage is crucial, especially as we're collecting more information about shoppers' habits and preferences.
Tons of data.
Retailers have a responsibility to protect that data and use it ethically.
No doubt. It's a big responsibility.
That's a good point. With all this talk about data and personalization, privacy is definitely a concern.
Absolutely. It's a conversation that the retail industry needs to be having transparently with consumers. As technology advances, finding the right balance between personalization and privacy will be paramount.
Okay, so we've covered the tech side of things.
Yeah.
But what about the physical spaces themselves? The EBG article mentioned some interesting trends happening there as well.
You're referring to the evolution of retail formats.
Exactly. We briefly touched on pop-up shops and shared spaces, but I'm curious to learn more. Why are these new formats gaining popularity?
I think it boils down to a few key factors.
Hmm.
First, consumer behavior is changing.
Okay, how so?
People are looking for more than just a transactional shopping experience. They want novelty discovery and a sense of community.
And these pop-up shops and shared spaces kind of provide that.
Right. Pop-up shops tap into that desire for unique and limited time offerings. They create buzz and excitement and give shoppers a reason to venture out and explore.
Okay, and what about shared spaces? What's driving that trend?
Shared spaces are a win-win for both retailers and consumers. For retailers, especially smaller businesses and startups, sharing space can reduce overhead costs and provide access to a wider customer base.
Okay.
For shoppers, it creates more diverse and engaging shopping experience. Imagine stumbling upon a local artisan market tucked inside your favorite coffee shop.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's all about creating a sense of discovery and supporting local businesses.
The EBG article mentioned that these trends are particularly prevalent in the DFW area.
Yeah, DFW is a hotbed for retail innovation.
Why is that?
DFW is a unique market. It's a rapidly growing region with a diverse population and a strong economy.
Oh,
This creates a fertile ground for innovation and experimentation in the retail sector.
so it's a place where new ideas and concepts can thrive.
Exactly. And because DFW is such a dynamic and forward-looking market, what happens here often foreshadows trends that we'll see in other parts of the country.
So it's kind of like a testing ground.
It's like a testing ground for the future of retail.
That's fascinating. It sounds like retailers and property developers in DFW are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
They are, and it's exciting to see how these innovations are shaping the retail landscape and creating new possibilities for both businesses and shoppers.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the importance of data privacy.
Yeah, it's crucial.
It seems like a lot of these new technologies rely on collecting vast amounts of data about shoppers.
So much data.
How can we ensure that this data is being used responsibly and ethically?
That's a critical question, and one that the retail industry needs to address head-on. Transparency is key there. Retailers need to be upfront with consumers about what data they're collecting, how they're using it, and what steps they're taking to protect it.
And as a consumer, should we be doing anything?
Absolutely. Consumers need to be proactive as well. Read privacy policies, ask questions, and support businesses that are committed to ethical data practices.
So we have a role to play in this.
For sure. We vote with our wallets.
Those are all great tips.
Huh.
It's a reminder that we as consumers have a voice and a role to play in shaping the future of retail.
I completely agree. Our choices and preferences influence how retailers operate and what they prioritize. It's a collaborative process, and the more informed we are as consumers, the better the outcomes will be for everyone.
That's a great point to end on. This has been a truly enlightening deep dive into the world of retail. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore. We're back for the final part of our retail deep dive. You know, it's amazing how much ground we've covered.
It is a lot, from experiential retail to the rise of omnichannel shopping and that ever-expanding role of technology.
It really feels like retail is at a turning point, doesn't it?
Right.
Like things are really changing.
Definitely. The old ways of doing things are being challenged, and new possibilities are emerging. It's a dynamic time to be both a shopper and a retailer.
So before we sign off, what are some of the key takeaways you want our listeners to walk away with from this deep dive?
I think recognizing that retail is no longer just about transactions. It's about experiences, relationships, and community.
That idea of connection keeps coming up.
It does because it's driving these trends. Shoppers today are looking for more than just a product. They want an experience, a story, a sense of belonging.
And that connection can happen both online and offline. Right? We've seen how retailers are blurring the lines between the digital and physical worlds to create a more engaging experience.
Precisely, like those personalized recommendations you mentioned. That's a great example of how data and technology can be used to enhance the shopping experience and create a more personal connection between the brand and the consumer.
And it's not just about the shoppers. Property managers are also playing a vital role in shaping the retail landscape.
Absolutely. They're the architects of these spaces, and they're increasingly thinking about how to create destinations that draw people in and encourage them to linger.
It's like they're creating little ecosystems where businesses and shoppers can thrive together.
That's a great way to put it. And those ecosystems are evolving rapidly, as we've seen with the rise of pop-up shops, shared spaces, and mixed-use developments.
So what does all this mean for the future of retail? Where do we go from here?
I think we'll see a continued emphasis on personalization and customization. Retailers will leverage data and technology to tailor their offerings to individual preferences,
So it's like everything's going to be more and more personalized.
creating truly unique shopping experiences.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal stylist, a personal shopper, and a personal concierge all rolled into one.
And we talked about augmented reality and virtual reality.
Oh, yeah,
Do you think that's going to play a bigger role?
definitely. And we might even see things like 3D printed products becoming more commonplace.
Wow. It's like
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless.
They are, and that's what makes this such an exciting time to be following the retail industry. But amidst all this innovation, we can't forget about the human element.
Right. We can't forget about the people behind the brands of the people who work in these spaces.
Exactly. Retail is ultimately a people-driven industry, and the most successful businesses will be those that prioritize human connection and create a positive and inclusive environment for both employees and customers.
So it's about finding that balance between technology and the human touch.
Precisely. And it's about being mindful of the ethical implications of these new technologies, as we discussed earlier. We need to ensure that data is being used responsibly and that we're not sacrificing privacy in the pursuit of personalization.
Those are all important points to consider. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful journey into the world of retail. Any final thoughts you want to leave our listener with?
I would encourage everyone to embrace the evolution of retail. Be curious, try new things, and don't be afraid to share your feedback with brands. The retail landscape is constantly changing, and it's up to all of us to shape its future.
That's a great call to action. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into retail. It's been a pleasure exploring these trends with you.
The pleasure was all mine. And to our listener, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what we've discussed. Share your experiences, your predictions, and your hopes for the future of retail, because ultimately this is a conversation that we're all a part of.